Hello and welcome to the daily number workout, number 28 for the fifth grade. So let's start off with our word, making sure we wrote that correctly. 28. All right, and since it ends with an 8 here in the ones place, it is even. Let's go for the factor pairs. We know 1 times 28 equals 28. We know since it's even, 2 goes in. 2 goes into 28 14 times, because 2 times 14, 2 14s make 28. Does 3 go in? No, 3 goes into 27, but not 28. 4 goes in, because 4 times 7 is 28. Does 5 go in? No, because it doesn't end with a 0 or a 5. Does 6 go in? Nope. 6 goes into 24. It goes to 30. It skips 28. So we are done. So we have many different factor pairs on this one, more than our other numbers this week. So let's go into multiples. And again, multiples are all about multiplying, of course. So get out your scrap paper, get it ready to rock, because we're going to do some multiplication. Let me move this up a smidgen so that we're ready. So 1 times 28, of course, is 28. If we do 2 times 28, 2 times 8 is 16, drop the 6, carry the 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5, so 2 28s is 56. Let's do 3 28s. 3 times 8 is 24, drop the 4, carry the 2. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8, 84. And since this is an even number, all the multiples of 28 should be even. So that's another sign to help remind you whether you are on the right track. 4 times 28. 4 times 8 is 32. Drop the 2, carry the 3. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 3 is 11. So 112. And remember, you could be adding those down the side of your paper as well, besides doing multiplication. So if you added them, you're just checking to see if your addition was correct. So 1 times, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. Let's do 5 times 28. 5 times 8 is 40. Drop the 0, carry the 4. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 4 is 14. So 140. Let's come down here. 28 times 6. 6 times 8 is 48. Drop the 8, carry the 4. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 4 is 16. So we have 168. 28 times 7. 7 times 8 is 56. We drop the 6, carry the 5. 7 times 2 is 14, plus 5 is 19. So we have 196. 28 times 8. 8 times 8 is 64. Drop the 4, carry the 6. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 6 is 22. So we have 224. We have 28 times 9. 9 times 8 is 72. We drop the 2, carry the 7. 9 times 2 is 18, plus 7 is 25. So we have 252. And of course, 10 times 28 is 28 with a 0. Boom, we're done. So of course, there's infinite multiples of 28, but we're just doing the first 10. So you're looking good there. Hopefully you've double checked all your work and you're moving on to fractions, decimals, and percents. And we're going to go ahead and put ratio up here right now. All right, I'm moving my paper up just a smidgen. So we have 27 out of 28 out of 100. Remember that line in the fraction is out of. Maybe remind yourself it's morning. And we're going to put an equal sign here because we know 28 doesn't go into 100, 14 doesn't go into 100 evenly, 7 doesn't, but 4 does. So we're going to divide 4, the numerator by 4, and we're going to divide the denominator by 4 to get an equivalent fraction. So 4 goes into 28. Up here it tells us 7 times, so we can just write 7. And 4 goes into 125 times because 4 quarters make $1. So 7/25 is equivalent, the same as 28 hundredths. Let's give it an old equal sign here, and we're going to go to the decimal, 0 and 28 hundredths. And the percent would be 28%. And our ratio would be 28:100, or 28:100. We come back here to write it in word form, which would be 28 hundredths and our decimal would be 0 and 28 hundredths. Looking good. All right, as you're filling that in, we're going to move on to dollars and cents. Let me move my paper up. All right. So dollars and cents, of course, we're just putting a dollar symbol on the front of our decimal, just like up here. But in word form, we would say $0 and 28 cents. We always want to do our word form with these as well as our numeral digits. So let's move it on up and let's go into our area and perimeter. We've got a lot of factor pairs to work with, so we're going to try to utilize all of them, or we are going to. So we're going to start off with our, and I'm just going to draw a little rectangle here to represent 28 by 1. And I'm going to draw another one like this and say this is a 1 by 28. So we're going to come over here and I'm going to write up here area equals 28 times 1 width times length. And that would be area is always in square units. So we're talking about 28 squares long by 1 tall. And then our perimeter on this one would be a 28 plus 1 plus 28 plus 1 equals, and I go up here to my multiples, and I know 2 28s is 56, so both of these would be 56, 57, 58. So I have 58 units for my perimeter, and then the other one would be 1 times 28, just flip-flopping these to equal 28 square units. And my perimeter would be a little flip-flopping too. 1 plus 28 plus 1 plus 28, which equals, it's the same digits, just rearranged, 58 units. All right, moving on to our next one, which would be 2 by 14. So we're going to say it's 2 wide by 14 long. I'm just going to draw it here, 14 by 2. And that means I can make it and I'm going to stand it up, 2 by 14. So here we go. Area equals 2 times 14, which equals 28 square units. Or the perimeter would be a 2 plus 14 plus 2 plus 14, which equals, well, these two together is 16, and 16 plus 16 is 32 units. And then right next to this, I'm going to write down 14 times 2 equals 28 square units. And the perimeter would be the same. It would be 14 plus 2 plus 14 plus 2 equals 32 units. All right, so that's those two different factor pairs. Now let's move on to 4 times 7. So we can do a 4 squares across and 7 squares tall, a 4 by 7, or we could do a 7 by 4. So I'm just gonna, so we got area equals 4 times 7, which equals 28 square units. Or it could be a 7 times 4, which is the same 28 square units. And our perimeter could be 4 plus 7 plus 4 plus 7 equals, well, 4 plus 7 is 11. So 11 plus 11 is 22 units. Or it can be 7 plus 4 plus 7 plus 4. We're just changing them around again, 22 units. Wow, we got them all in. So there was 3 sets of factor pairs that we arranged in all these different ways. Let's move on to our volume. Move my paper up, volume. So we knew volume is width times depth times height. So we're taking all these and we're adding in the volume part of it. So I'm just going to leave this down here so you can at least see these other ones in case you're still catching up. All right, so our first one, of course, would be 28 long by 1 tall by 1 deep. 28 by 1 by 1. So 28 by 1 deep by 1 tall. So that would be volume equals 28 times 1, which equals 28 cubic units. So now we're talking 3-dimensional. Area is 2-dimensional. This is 3-dimensional. All right, so our next one would be, and I'm just going to draw it over here. It's going to be 1 wide by 1 deep by 28 tall. So that would be over here, 1 by 1 by 28, which is 28 cubic units. So as you can see, we just rearranged. We put the 28 not at the beginning, but at the end, same thing. All right, so the next one would be, if I was to draw this front, 1 by 28 by 1. 1 by 28 by 1. And of course, that equals the same. All right, we're going to move on to 2 and 14. So let's write down here. Whoops. 2 times 14 times 1 equals 28 cubic units. So let's draw that 2 across by 14 deep by 1 tall. So this is 2 across by 14 by 1 tall. So 2, 14, 1. The next one we're going to do is 2 across by 1 by 14 tall. I'm going to move my paper up now. So we're talking 2 across by 1 deep by 14 tall. So we're just standing our rectangular prism up, 2 by 1 by 14. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do 14 first, 14 by 1 by 2. Oops. Yeah. So let's draw that one. 14 across by 1 deep by 2 tall. 14 by 1 by 2. The next one would be a 14 by 2 by 1. That'd be 14 across by 2 deep by 1 tall. 14 by 2 by 1. All right, the next way to write it would be a 1 by 14 by 2. So we're talking 1 across by 14 deep by 2 tall. 1 by 14 by 2. And the other one would be a 1 by 2 by 14. And of course, these are all 28 cubic units. So we're talking 1 by 2 by 14 tall. 1 by 2 by 14. All right, we're not done yet. We've got 4 and 7. 4 and 7. So let's write it out. 4 times 7 times 1 equals 28 cubic units. So we're talking 4 wide by 7 deep by 1 tall. 4 by 7 by 1. Then we're going to also have a 4 by 1 by 7. So we're talking 4 by 1 by 7. Oops, I got into the other one. So we're going to say 4 by 1 by 7. All right, then we're going to do 7 by 4 by 1. So we're talking 7 across by 4 by 1. So 7 by 4 by 1. And then we're going to do a 7 by 1 by 4. So I got to draw that 7 across by 1 deep by 4 tall. Looks more like this, 7 by 1 by 4. And then we have to have the 1 first. So we're going to have 1 by 7 by 4. So we're looking at 1 across by 7 deep by 4 tall. 1 by 7 by 4. And last but not least, we have 1 by 4 by 7. 1 by 4 by 7. 1 by 4 by 7. There we go. Lots of ways to make 28 cubic units. Lots of ways to stand up or organize our 28 cubes. All right, that's it for today. Have a great day. I'll see you for the number 29 the next time we meet.